Well, hello there. Welcome back to another Pokemon video. Today we're gonna do a little bit of a fun one, I guess. Fun. I've been into Pokemon cards recently, and what I want to do this video is I actually want to do like a deck building video. I know it's a little bit interesting, but I kind of just want to go through my process about how I would approach deck building. I'm not the best deck builder or anything. Like most of the decks I make bad. Some of them are pretty alright, but most of the time they're pretty bad. And so, I just think it would be a little bit fun just to make just a little video about me making a deck. So how do I approach making a deck? First of all, what the plan is, I'm gonna make the deck from scratch. I have some ideas, and then I'm gonna play a few test rounds just to test out the deck, and maybe we'll play a few matches to see how the deck really performs. But first off, when I come with a deck idea, there always needs to be an idea, and the idea is whether like some kind of card combination or a certain card in general. That's usually how the ideas get started. And so the idea today is I want to be using Greninja EX. I think Greninja EX is a really strong card. I don't see any like decks focus on Greninja EX. Sometimes decks might run Greninja EX just as, a one-of. I see a lot of like just random toolbox decks maybe use a Greninja, or like before rotation of Pokemon V-Star would use perhaps a Greninja in there. So it's a very strong card in my opinion, but not a lot of people use it because it just doesn't do as much damage as like a Dragapult. Dragapult is just better because if it's stage 1. Charizard's better because it has self-energy ramp. Those are like some stage 3s that Greninja needs to compete with. But what makes Greninja good is for 1 energy, it does 170 damage, which is a lot of damage. 170 damage is enough to knock out like, your Squawkabillies and stuff. I think Squawkabilly, it can knock it out. I forgot how much HP Squawkabilly has. Squawkabilly EX has, I think, 160. So it's enough to knock out like a Squawkabilly. And of course, you are a Greninja, or you are fighting type because it's Terra fighting. And so you could one-shot like a Trapagos, even a Trapagos that has Bravery, Charm, and Buffalon. And so, there's a few things why Greninja is good with Shinobi Blade. It can also search for any card in your deck, which is really strong for consistency. Mirage Barrage is the move that I really want to focus on today because you discard 2 energies. So it costs 3 energies, 1 water and 2 colorless, and then you do 120 to 2 bench Pokemon, or 2 of any Pokemon. 120 is pretty strong because it can knock out a lot of Pokemon. And then 120 plus 120, 120 plus 120 is enough to knock out, like, for example, Fezandipiti, Mews, a lot of your, any Ogre Pawns. So the Mirage Barrage is really good at knocking out, EX, like, kind of basic EXs in 2 hits. So that's what I want to focus on. I really like Greninja because I like the Shinobi Blade being able to search 1 energy, does a lot of damage, and then the Mirage Barrage is fun. The thing about Mirage Barrage is that it is a move that makes it so that it loses energies. So you are going to want to have, for example, there needs to be a way that you can get the energies back on the Greninja. So I'm just gonna add 4 Froakies and 3 the Frogadier. I think I want to run 3. The other card that I want to be testing out is Boomerang Energy. Now, Boomerang Energy is a card that literally no one uses. I haven't seen this card be used at all. But what it does is, if it gets discarded, it gets attached back to the Pokemon. So using a Boomerang Energy with Greninja EX means that if you use Mirage Barrage to discard the Boomerang Energies, it comes back, which means that you don't need to attach the energy next turn. And I just like the idea of it coming back. The problem with a Boomerang Energy, or it has a few problems. One is a special energy, so you can't energy ramp it with Arven, with like Janen. So that's why it's not very strong. You have to attach it manually. It's a special energy, so it's more difficult to search. You're going to need like a Pidgeot EX to search for it, or a Colorless Tenacity to search for it. And at the end of the day, it's just a colorless energy, and so it doesn't work with Greninja's first move, Shinobi Blade. I'm going to need, it only really works for the Mirage Barrage. And so that's the problem with the Boomerang energy, but I want to test the Greninja and Boomerang energy today, and so I have a few ideas to get it done. When it comes to Greninja, because Greninja is going to be my main card, I'm going to use 3 copies of it, with 4 copies of Froakie and 3 copies of Frogadier. The reason why I'm running 3 copies of Greninja is my main attacker, but you don't want to run too many Greninjas. If you run potentially 4 Greninjas, it might be very bricky, right? It might be too many too many Greninjas if you run 4 of them. And this goes for any stage 3s or any stage 2s. You have your Pokemon searches and Ultra Balls and stuff like that. And so running too many of the stage 2s makes it a little bit inconsistent. So most time you want to run 3, even 2. Some decks even just run 2. Granted, this deck doesn't really have an easy way of searching with its stage 1, because the reason why Dragapult is so strong is because Dracolope can Recontractive. So that's why that stage 1 is really strong. But also, for example, things like the new Cynthia's Gabite can search for any Cynthia Pokemon. So that's why, Cynthia's Garchomp might be a little bit more consistent. So we don't have a good stage 1, but that's okay. For more consistency, I threw in 4 rare candies just because we want to get our Greninjas out. It's going to be hard for your opponent to one-shot these Greninjas, so you can build multiple of them up and switch between each other. Having multiple Greninjas is good. I'm going to run actually 3 rare candies. We do run a lot of Frogadiers, because I'm running Greninja. I've ran Greninja before in the past, and the problem with Greninja is that the consistency just isn't really there in the deck, and so you really need to run support Pokemon that can help you gather cards. And one of the best ones right now is Pidgeot. Pidgeot is really strong because it's a stage 2 that can search for any card in your deck once per turn. Or quick search, you can only use it once per turn. And its move isn't bad either. 2 colorless energy, and you do 120 and discard a stadium and play. That is relevant because we're going to be running, some energies that you can power up your Pidgeot. It also has free retreat, so a great Pokemon to send in after your active Pokemon gets knocked out. Pidgey is also pretty strong because its Call for Family can make you go wide. I prefer this Pidgey that can Call for Family. It is 50 HP, and so you are really susceptible to, Dusclops and Dragapult EXs. But I like the Call for Family because it can help you go wide. I'm going to run 3 Pidgeys, 1 Pidgeotto, and 2 Pidgeots. Again, I think 2 Pidgeots, 2 Pidgeys is a really good package to have. If you run Evolution, TM Evolution, then Pidgeotto is good. I'm going to run 3 Pidgeys for the moment, just because my deck, the idea that I have, doesn't have that many basic Pokemons. What's really good in the meta right now is TM Evolution. So if you go first with Evolution decks, you can evolve turn 2. And then, but if you go second, then you can evolve, your second turn. But by the time you evolve, your opponent has already been able to evolve. So TM Evolution kind of brings it backwards. It makes it so that if you go second, you can evolve basically the first turn you go second. You just need the energy and then have this, Poke Tool on your Pokemon. So in my opinion, the only reason why Evolution decks nowadays are like have a chance against the very fast basic decks is cards like TM Evolution. So we're gonna run 2 of those. In terms of what other Pokemon I want to run, let's go to the trainers. Again, this is the first time I'm making this deck. I already have a few ideas of what cards I want to run, but let's just keep on going on how I'm going to build this deck. Because I'm running TM Evolution, I want to run Arvens. Arvens will allow me to search for TM Evolutions. It's also going to allow me to search for a trainer, so I can search for my rare candies, my Ultra Balls, my Nest Balls, my Buddy Poffins, and so is very strong in that sense. I'm gonna max out on the Ultra Balls, and I'm gonna max out on Buddy Buddy Poffins. Buddy Buddy Poffin is another card in the current meta that helps with evolution decks because it allows you to go wide very easily. You can search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less, and so you can, go wide with your Froakies, your Pidgeys, and so cards like Buddy Buddy Poffin, Evolution, and Arven make it so that in the current meta, evolution decks have a lot of power in them. For other supporters, we always want to run Boss's Orders. I think it's always necessary to run at least one Boss's Order in your deck, simply because Boss Orders allows you to... It's a game-winning card. It allows you to win games. It allows you to stay longer. You can switch your opponent's active Pokemon out to a certain bench Pokemon. And then that's really strong because I can lure out certain Pokemon to Shinobi Blade them. Maybe I've already Mirage Barrage something or Shinobi Blade something and I want to use the other move. Doing these moves together is a total of 290 damage, which is enough to knock out basically most Pokemon that are not stage 2. Of course, your Blissies and your Blissey EXs, your Executor EXs have 300 HP, but that's enough to knock out a lot of stuff. We also want to run Ionos because this card allows you to is another form of disruption. So if you're down on prizes, or if your opponent has taken more prize than you have, then you can Iono to kind of make your deck inconsistent. This is also your anti-deck out card. Every deck, or there's always a chance that you deck out depending on how you play the game, and depending on what your opponent's deck is. So Iono allows you to send cards back into your deck, preventing you from decking out. I'm also going to be running 2 Crispins. Now, Crispin is the energy ramp card kind of this meta right now. Search your deck for 2 basic energies, attach one into your Pokemon and one into your hand. And then, you still have your energy that you can attach for a turn. And so that's 2 energies. And if you look at, Mirage Barrage, that's 2 energies that it needs to be discarded. And so using Crispin will allow you to get a lot of energies on your Pokemon fast, which is important for Greninja's Mirage Barrage. Because I'm running Crispin, I need 2 different colors of energy. So of course we're going to need our water energies to start off with. But we also are going to run some dark energies. The reason why is because we need 2 different energies for Crispin. But also, I'm going to try to run Munkidori. The reason why I'm going to run Munkidori here is because a lot of times... Munkidori is Psychic type. A lot of times your Greninjas, because they have 310 HP, only like 2 decks can like one-shot it essentially. Of course, it is weakening as Psychic, and so Lily's Clefairy is pretty strong against Greninja. But generally speaking, Raging Bolt EX can one-shot Greninja EX. Goldango can one-shot Greninja EX. But besides those, it's hard for your opponent to one-shot it. And so running Munkidoris to be able to like move damage counters around. And then think about it. If you're going to use like a Mirage Barrage or you're going to use a Shinobi Blade, you're doing 170. But if you Munkidori something, then that's 30 damage and that's 200 damage. Right? That's enough to knock out like a MEW EX and stuff like that. And then Mirage Barrage, 150 to 2 things and then doing 50 more damage. That's enough to knock out a lot of stage 2 EX or stage 2 Pokemon that are non-EXs. Stuff like that. And then, of course, you run the dark energies that you can attach to the Munkidoris just so you can have that play. Doesn't mean that you need to use Munkidori, but because you run some dark energies, you just want to run the Munkidori. I'm running 4 water energies, 3 dark energies, and 3 boomerang energies. You don't want to run too much energies because energies can break your hand. I am running a Pidgeot EX, which can search for the boomerang energy, so you don't want to run too many of them. Especially since Boomerang Energy doesn't work with Greninja Shinobi Blade. And so that's why I don't want to run too many Boomerang Energies. And then, of course, 4 Water and 3 Dark. I do have Crispin to be able to search for energies. And I also want to run 1 Earthen Vessels, just so that I have a card that can search for energies with Arven. But you don't want to run too many of these either. I also want to run a Super Rod and a Night Stretcher. I think running 1 Super Rod and 1 Night Stretcher is always good. If your deck has a lot of evolution cards, then Super Rod is good to be able to send back your Frogadiers, your Pidgeottos, your basic Pokemon. But if you run a lot of just EXs, then Night Stretcher might be the better card to run maybe even 2 up instead of 1 Super Rod. Night Stretcher just allows you to get a Pokemon or energy back. That could be very good because I am going to be discarding energies with Greninja. And also, the Ultra Balls, the Earthen Vessels, discard cards. So you can kind of get your energies or Pokemon back. For Pokemon, I do want to round out the deck because I don't run that many basic Pokemons. Every deck kind of needs a Fezandipiti or a MEW EX. The reason why is that these cards help with consistency. So MEW, if you notice that your hand generally gets too small, then you can MEW to just get more cards in your hand. Fezandipiti is really good if your deck has a lot of non-EX Pokemon, just so that the more Pokemon get knocked out, the more you can draw. This kind of your coming back from behind card, the Fezandipiti EX. Some decks run both the MEW and Fezandipiti. Some decks run one or the other. I'm gonna test with just one Fezandipiti for now. Deck, you probably want to run a stadium because every deck kind of needs a stadium. Just because your opponent might run, for example, Neutralization Zone. Neutralization Zone will make it so that my Greninja EX can't really do damage. You do have the Pidgeot to destroy it with the Blustery Wind, but also you'll want to have your own stadiums to overlay on your enemy stadiums. A way to get rid of Area 0 Underdepths, a way to get over stuff like that. Artazon is just good here because Artazon can bring out your Froakies, your Pidgeys, your Munkidoris. We're missing an A-Spec, so I'm going to run a Sparkling Crystal. The reason why I want to run a Sparkling Crystal is because it is searchable with Arven. Arven can search for a tool, and so it can search for the Sparkling Crystal. And in one turn, for example, if I use Sparkling Crystal and I use Crispin, that's enough to get 3 energies essentially on Greninja, and to be able to use Mirage Barrage with just those 2 cards. And yeah, Sparkling Crystal will help me just be able to use Shinobi Blade without having any energies attached to my Pokemon. After that, I can add 2 more cards to my deck. I have 58 cards, and so I just want to run more cards for consistency. I am running a lot of supporters. I'm running 4 Arvens, 2 Bosses, 2 Ionos, and 2 Crispins. And I do want to just get a little bit more consistent with the Professor researches here. So that is my deck that I built. Again, I already had an idea of what I wanted in that deck. I kind of built it on scratch here, so there might be things change. For example, I don't have any Nest Ball, so I might want to include a Nest Ball. I might be running too many Crispins. I might be running too many Rare Candies. I might be running too many TM Evolutions. I might be running too many Boomerang Energies. Maybe Boomerang Energies are useless. I might be running too many Pidgeys, right? There's a lot of stuff that I could be running too many of that I might change. I might need to change, right? I might be running too little stadiums. I only run 2 stadiums. And so there's a lot of things to think about here. And so that's why I just want to, just talk about it there. And then after I built a deck, I like testing the deck with the test feature. This isn't a really good representation of how games are going to be, simply because the AI is pretty stupid and they go really slow, and generally speaking, they didn't get anything accomplished this turn. This hand is pretty bad because we don't have TM Evolution. I mean, we could get it with Professor Research, but it's always good to, in my opinion, Mazagoza here, just because I'm gonna probably Arven or Artazon before Professor Research, so I can get a lot of Pokemon out here. With the Mazagoza, I'm probably gonna get Munkidori out simply because if I use the Buddy Poffin, I can get 2 Froakies out. I do want to get another Pidgey out here, so we're gonna destroy that. We're gonna get our Pidgey out, just in case this Pidgey dies. Having Pidgey in the active is always good because I can call for family, or I can evolve it and retreat it later. We're going to Earthen Vessels. We're also just going to get an energy to attach to our Pidgey. I'm going to get a water energy just in case Pidgey dies, and then I need a Night Stretcher to water energy for Greninja EX. And then I'm going to Professor Research and hope that I get TM Evolution. I did get TM Evolution, perfect. I have two Pidgeots in my hand here, which is very strong because I can get, as long as Pidgeotto's in my deck, Pidgeotto is in my deck, and it looks like, okay, I run 3 Frogadiers. Again, 3 Frogadiers might be too much, but I just really want to get Greninja out. And yes, next turn, as you see here, it's very strong. I can, like, evolve the Pidgeot here, and then I can get Greninja here, and then, oh, okay, the boss order does mess things up because I need to retreat with the Munkidori. See, that's what I should have added. I should have added Rescue Board. But I'm obviously going to evolve that. I'm going to evolve this. And now with Greninja, or with Pidgeot, I can search for anything. Bidoof can't be damaged if it's on the bench. So, you know, I had a chance of Mirage Barraging both Pokemon for a game. But that doesn't work in this case. And so what we're probably going to do is we are just going to, yeah, I need a Rescue Board in this deck. That would be the perfect thing to search with the quick search here. But, yeah, at this point, I'm probably just going to attach a Water Energy. Or I can attach a, yeah. So that's how this game would go. I'll probably attach a Water Energy, retreat it, and then get the Greninja up. And then I will probably just Crispin, getting the dark in the water, and then we put the water in our, or we put the dark in our hand. We attach the Water Energy on Greninja so it can attack. And then with the Pidgeot, what I'll probably do is just to, you know, get rid of cards in my hand. I'm probably just gonna get a rare candy the other Pidgeot. Again, this isn't really necessary, but just in case my opponent knocks out a Pidgeot, for example. I do have some energies to attach for next turn. And then we're going to Shinobi Blade. With the Shinobi Blade, I can search for my supporter. And so, you know, I can search for whatever card I want, like another rare candy, another Greninja. I can search for, you know, for example, a boss's order for next turn. Just so, very strong here. And then, of course, I can always search for the Crispin for next turn. Or what I could do is I can search for a Sparkling Crystal and attach the Boomerang Energy. And then when I use Mirage Barrage, I'll discard the Water Energy and the Boomerang Energy, and the Boomerang Energy comes back. And so, just a lot of things I can do here, right? But that's basically it. Seems like and then I don't want to test too long because I know I can probably get the game pretty easily here. So we're just going to give up just so that we can go back and edit the deck. Again, I do want to run a Rescue Board. Rescue Board would have been the perfect card for that test run. And that's why it's good to just test it out. So I'm going to get rid of, what do we want to get rid of? I do like the 2 Professor Research. Maybe I get rid of a Frogadier because I might be running too many of those. 3 is a lot. And then for this, a Rescue Board. Okay. And then one more time, we'll give it another test run before we bring this deck out into the wild. I like the deck list so far. I think, again, you really want to focus on building up a Pidgeot. I haven't really tested out the Boomerang Energy. Last game, that turn, the Boomerang Energy potentially wouldn't have worked because they boss ordered another target. And that way, I may have needed to like retreat again. So it's a little bit difficult there, but to know exactly how the energy count would work. But again, we'll play against the AI. The AI goes first always, which is good. This hand is interesting because we have the TM Evolution, but we need energies and we need bench Pokemon. And so we could get a bench Pokemon with Artazon, but with Arven, we need an energy, so we might need to search for example, I might need to search for Earthen Vessels instead of a Buddy Poffin. This is pretty scary though, because this Shin PAL could do like 160 damage next turn. They don't have any Braxcalibur set up. We got our Water Energy, so we can Arven a Buddy Poffin here. That's pretty convenient. And then we can get our, maybe we can pre-search for our Rescue Board, because Rescue Board is always going to be kind of good here. or sparkling crystals. I think we search for, do we have, first off, it's good to just check if you have your evolution targets. We do. We have all our evolution targets. I do have a Greninja in hand, and so perhaps I can search for a rare candy with Pidgeot next turn. So here's what we do. We do something like this, and then we can use a sparkling crystal on the reigning Greninja. We're going to attach the evolution. We're going to attach the energy. We're going to do the Artazon. And then the Artazon, we're going to get another Pidgey. Again, I think it's more important to get the Pidgeys out than getting the Greninjas out. And then we're going to go ahead and evolution here. And then we get our Frogadier, and our Pidgeotto here. Oh, I noticed that next turn I don't have Pidgeot. Or Pidgeot. So I can evolve the Greninja and then attach the sparkling crystal and then Iono. Or I can like Ultra Ball the Iono and the card I draw for, okay, so they're gonna do that. Yeah, so obviously the AI was dumb. It should have targeted the Pidgeotto. That would have been pretty rough for me. That means that I wouldn't have had the Pidgeot built next turn. Or it would have been hard. I would need like a rare candy and an Iono or something like that. But regardless, if they're going to play like this, then we just need to take advantage of it, right? And now this turn, it's like we got our Pidgeot, so broken. We can do that. We can get our Greninja up. We can attach the sparkling crystal. We can Artazon again for our, maybe at this point we can use a Munkidori. And then we're just gonna Iono here. I could have searched for Crispin and got the Crispin out with the Greninja, but I didn't feel like that was necessary. With the Pidgeot here, we can get a Boomerang energy. Because I attached the sparkling crystal, we can start doing the Boomerang energy idea like I had to begin with here. And yeah. And then we can go ahead and Shinobi Blade. Good amount of damage. And then here we're going to search for the other Boomerang energy. And with this, we have two opportunities to search with the Pidgeot, with the Greninja here. And so next turn, or it's pretty easy to get cards that we need, because both of these Pokemon can kind of get the cards we need. And indeed, so that's kind of how this deck is going to go. Lost Vacuum to get rid of the Stadium. Again, Lost Vacuum should have got rid of like the Crystal. But even if they got rid of the Crystal, I could have just Crispin 2 energies. Actually, do I have? Yeah, I probably do have 2, because I have 3 water energies already in my hand and stuff. I'm not sure if Crispin would actually even work. But yeah, we don't need to Crispin. We're going to Boomerang energy again. And then we're going to Pidgeot. See if Crispin would have even worked. Crispin would have worked. So yeah, getting the Pidgeot or to search is good there. At this point, we just want to build up another Greninja, right? And yes, we can use the Mirage Barrage here. Unfortunately, the Mirage Barrage isn't going to work because of the mana fee. So I probably should have just used Shinobi Blade. But, you know, let's just see. There we go. The Boomerang energy is coming back. So that's the whole idea of this deck, essentially. Yeah, mana fee is kind of a hard counter here. It's kind of difficult to get around a mana fee. But that card has been rotated out. And I don't think like Shaman or Jirachi actually do what it needs to do. So I think the deck, okay, we got the glitch where the game just glitches out after we do a test. That's not very good for the video because I just want to play a game here, but it's not going to let me play a game. Are you kidding me? Does it need to glitch? Don't tell me I need to, because if I need to exit out the game, I need to edit the video. Oh, that's so annoying. Okay, well, Pokemon Go TCG Live sucks because sometimes it glitches like this. This happens all the time, by the way. So I'm going to restart the game, and then we're going to actually do a legit run in the wild. So just give me one moment. Okay, Pokemon TCG Live, fix your flipping game. That happens so often. I don't know why it happens like that, but it just glitches out the game. Let's give this deck a test run. Again, just because I built the deck doesn't mean that this deck is good, but it follows a lot of deck building philosophies that I believe in. Oh, please don't play Iron Valiant. Let's play Greninja. We have all the cards in the deck, so we can just go ahead and play it. Yeah, so again, I think, for example, you always need boss orders, you always need Ionos. For evolution decks, having Arven TM Evolution is nice, having Pidgeot is nice. I want to go second here, so we're going to let our opponent go first. If the deck that likes to go second, but going first is okay as well, just because you got rare candies and stuff in your hand as well. What an awful hand. Yeah, this is a really bad hand. We do have... Yeah, this is an awful hand, so we might lose this game. Just because the Crispin isn't really helpful here for us. But we'll see. If we draw an Arven or TM Evolution, then everything gets... Even if we get Arven... Yeah, if we get Arven, everything is fixed too. So there's a few things that will help us if we get... Basically the Arvens, the TM Evolutions. Even a Professor Research wouldn't even be that bad either. But yeah, kind of rough. My opponent is playing Frogadier EX, so they're going to get a pretty aggressive start here, which is unfortunate. Looks like they're running just some sort of N deck. N with Blaziken, interesting. They're just going to Squawk. Yeah, kind of an unfortunate starting hand from my opponent, but I mean, what can you do, right? They're really set on getting this Blaziken out. The thing is, Darmanitan is pretty rough. So N's Darmanitan does 90 to 2 Pokemon, and so that would get rid of a lot of my a lot of my benched Pokemon. A lot of my stage 1s can get demolished by Darmanitan. If we don't build it this turn, then I'm not too worried about it. So if they don't have like a Darumaka, then I should be okay. But if they have Darumaka, then I'm pretty sad. That means they can get Darmanitan next turn. They can probably get an Zoroark next turn. They're going to retreat. They're going to retreat the Zora because they just want to protect it. Or maybe energy in your discard is good. I'm going to go ahead and Buddy Poffin. I could flock for extra Froakie. Do I want... I think I'm going to flock for... flock for an extra Froakie here. The reason why I want to do this is just so that I can start getting energies out. There's a potential that they could like ends PP up and like switch and all that stuff, and so they could knock out this Froakie next turn with, some stuff. So I'm not going to do much else. I'm just going to use Flock so I can get another Froakie. Seems like one of them is prized. And yes, next turn we can kind of set up with the Frogadier and the Pidgeotto. But again, it's not looking good because I don't really have any other good supporters or any like Ultra Balls. They have a rare candy, so they're going to rare candy up the Blaziken. Again, they're going to get energy back here with that. We are fighting type, and so surprisingly, we don't actually one-shot the Blaziken if we Shinobi Blade it. So just keep that in mind, that your Greninja is actually a fighting type. So you have to play it as if, yeah. But they got Professor Research, so yeah, they got a Squawk ability and Professor Research. So kind of a good start from my opponent here. And just a really bad start for me, unfortunately. If they can get their Zoroarks built up here, they run the Pecharon, and so it's probably it's likely that they also run like Binding Mochis, which is how they can kind of dish out more damage with their Raiding Greninjas, or with not Raiding Greninjas, with their Pokemon. They're gonna do 20 damage on my Froakie, which I think is interesting because that does give me Munkidori potential here next turn. Got a Dark Energy, which is rough. Yeah, we're just gonna do something like this. There is a chance I can paralyze here. We're just gonna use Munkidori. I I think I'm going to move the damage counters on Squawkabilly here, simply because I might be barraging it. I mean, I could Shinobi Blade it and it one-shots the Squawkabilly. But if I Barrage now, it can get one-shot by the Barrage. I didn't paralyze it, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. Again, just a really bad start. I went second, but I had Crispin, and I didn't play supporter that turn. And so I'm very, very far behind. If I draw something good next turn, there's a potential. Unfortunately, they're going to Earthen Vessel, which means that they're going to get a Fire Energy. They're going to use Blaziken's Smolder Salt. And of course, they got Arven. So they're drawing all their stuff. And yeah, that's just the thing about my deck, is because I'm running Munkidoris, I'm running, I'm running Munkidoris, I'm running 2 stage 2s, so your Pidgeot and your Greninja EX. It's just I'm running a lot of different types of Pokemon, and these Pokemon can't really do anything unless I have, my stage 2. And so it's really rough. It's really rough, especially if I don't start off with really good supporters. That's why I run the 4 Arvens, and I try to put in 2 Professor Research, 2 Ionos, just so that I have the potential of being able to getting going. But yeah, not getting going with a Pidgey or Pidgeot is really rough. I don't think I have much longer in the game. They're gonna knock out this Frogadier because they're gonna I get energy. They're gonna retreat this Squawkabilly and one-shot my Frogadier. So yeah. And of course my opponent is just hitting all their supporters here. So it's looking pretty rough. But there is a chance as long as I draw like a Pidgeot this turn or something. Yeah, there's a chance if I draw like a Pidgeot, for example. That's the only thing I can really think of right now. Or like an Ultra Ball, something like that. But if I don't, then it's probably game, because like my opponent will just have too much advantage. Why are you taking so long picking your prize cards, my guy? Please. So we'll see. We'll see here. We want to do the Pidgeot or Pidgeotto because the Pidgeot has free retreat cost. Artazon, it's game. Yeah, we're just gonna scoop it up. There's no need to keep playing that game. I kind of just bricked. I really couldn't get into the game, and my opponent was able to get into the game, which is unfortunate. I went second too, which meant that I could have played a supporter. Going first there would have been even worse. Like, imagine me going first that game. Like, it would have been just as bad. So that wasn't really about going first or second. It was just that I got unlucky draws. And let's see if we can get better luck this game. But yeah, that's the thing. A lot of the decks I build, just because like I don't really test them a lot. Sometimes they can be a little bit inconsistent, but I think all Pokemon decks, it's hard to get like a super consistent Pokemon deck, and so that's just kind of par for the course, right? All right, we have. This is just as bad. We have Iono. Wait, am I going first or second? I'm going second. Okay. We do have Iono, so that can help us get some stuff. Artazon is good. We can get a full board next turn, essentially, with that Artazon. They are running a really interesting deck. So my deck I thought was inconsistent because I'm running... See, Arven isn't even good here because I need an energy. Oh wait, no, I can search for Earthen Vessels. Okay, let's see if my deck has Earthen Vessels. I only run 1 Earthen Vessels, which might be a mistake. I do have it. Okay, so we're going to get these, and then I'm gonna Artazon another Pidgey, just so that we can go flipping super wide here. We just want to go wide as possible. We're gonna Arven a Earthen Vessels and a Evolution, obviously. We're gonna use the TM Evolution on the Froakie. Arguably, I should have discarded the... Yeah, I think I'm gonna use Earthen Vessels. I'm gonna discard... It hurts, but I think I want to discard the Iono here, simply because boss order is strong. But Yeah, boss order is strong. I don't want them to know I have Munkidori, but maybe I should just search for the Dark Energy regardless. And just use it on this Froakie here. Yeah. Wait, how am I going to get Pidgeot next turn without the Iono? Oh my gosh, I may have just griefed myself. Wait a minute. I just got rid of my Iono. Which means that... Do I not have Pidgeotto in my deck? Okay. I just got rid of my Iono. So, okay, I have to hope that my opponent Ionos. Wait, why did I discard Iono? For some reason, I thought I had Pidgeot or something in my hand already. Huh, okay. This might be a little bit rough. But... yeah, you're going to get Sparkling Crystal, Rare Candy. So, if they have Sparkling Crystal here... or honestly, if they have any other energies, they can already start attacking with Dragapult. Or they have the Sparkling Crystal, obviously. They just search for it. So yeah, Dragapult is going to be a little bit rough because they could just one-shot the Froakie. Probably kill the Pidgey and do like 10 damage on like... or they're going to destroy both Froakies. Okay. That's fine. Unfortunately, this Pidgey is friggin' dead. I may have misplayed with the Iono. Yeah, I discarded the Iono. I should have discarded the bosses or Frogadier. I don't know what I'm thinking. Okay. I lost because I'm an idiot. Yeah, it's going to be hard to come back from this just because they have Dragapult built. So I just lost. Why did I discard the Iono? Why did I get greedy? I should discard a boss order. Granted, my opponent did get Dragapult up very fast. They went first and they were able to Rare Candy Dragapult turn 2. And that's... yeah, Dragapult turn 2 is very, very strong. That's kind of like the goal of Dragapult decks, in my opinion. I mean, sometimes you want to go wide and get the counter catchers and Dracula's built. But yeah, that game, honestly, yeah, it's just... even if I got Iono built, or if I use Iono, would Iono even help there, right? I would need to essentially hit like a Pidgeot or like a Greninja. But yeah, it would have definitely helped. I had boss's orders in hand. I could have boss orders one of their small cards. But indeed, that was a little bit rough. Alright. Am I going first or second? I'm going second. Okay, so I need an energy. An energy would be nice here if I got an energy. Again, not starting off with any supporter is really rough. This could be a game where I just don't play supporter. If I don't draw into a supporter. So we'll see. An energy is nice. Okay, so yeah, it's another dead hand. I can't do anything with this. Great. The one good start that I had... yeah, I can't do anything with this. I could Rare Candy next turn, but Rare Candy doesn't do anything. I guess I have to have a Froakie die so I can use my Fezandipiti. So I just hope that they Hydreigon me, honestly. Hope that they Rare Candy Hydreigon, get another energy, do 200 damage. Hopefully they don't mill out some important cards. But again, just another... not even another rough start. The last start was pretty good. I just misplayed. I don't know why discarding Iono. Yep, they have it. Great. So both games I got Rare Candied. They have Crispin, so oh my gosh, Obsidian would wreck me. So just pray that they can't Obsidian me. They're one energy off from Obsidian. Which would be really rough. But hey, next turn I have Fezandipiti value. I just have to kind of go wide. Another dark energy? Interesting. That means that it's going to be hard for them. They have a dark energy in hand for next turn. Oh my gosh. Is it already over, guys? They're just going to Obsidian me next turn. How am I supposed to survive the Obsidian? They have a dark energy in hand. Oh my goodness. Is there anything I can do? Dude, I think I'm cooked. Okay, I'm gonna Rare Candy Greninja. I know they can Obsidian me. So, should I just play around it? Should I just not give my opponent any chance? Okay, I think that's what I have to do. I just have to play around the Obsidian because I'm gonna search for... what do I even want to search for? I have Pidgeot. I think I want to search for like a Buddy Poffin. Or maybe I want to search for a supporter. I think I want to search for like a freaking Professor Research. Honestly, my hand is just so cooked. Yeah, we're gonna search for a Professor Research. I'm not sure. Maybe I should search for like a Iono, but Iono honestly would help them more than it help me. They could Obsidian, like they could, but I'm gonna likely knock them out next turn because I do have boss orders. So if they even decide to retreat it, I can always boss orders something. They're gonna Arven, so let's see what they Arven here. It's gonna be pretty important. There's a chance that I could get back into the game here. But yeah, my opponent made a little bit hard focus on the Hydreigon. Okay, they're going to go wide with the Buddy Poffin, which I think is smart. But they're kind of in a situation where they're kind of top decking too. Because I know one of them is an Energy, one of them is a Sparkling Crystal. And there's just at least 2 cards left. You know, likely that maybe one of them is like a boss order, maybe another Hydreigon, maybe another Rare Candy. They're going to start building up a Dino here. Yeah, if I don't need to boss orders, we're just going to go ahead and use Professor Research. We're going to ditch the Pidgeot, but that's okay. I find it unlikely that they're going to Obsidian me with that Dino, so I'm probably not even going to worry about it too much. My Rescue Board has disappeared, but that's okay. Okay, so we're gonna go wide here a little bit. We're gonna do that. We're gonna get our Froakie. We're gonna Ultra Ball. Oh, we don't want to Ultra Ball that. We're gonna Ultra Ball a Evolution and a that. Get another Pidgey, I think. Wow, I don't have any Froakies. Uh-oh. Yeah, we're gonna do this. And then I'm going to attach the Evolution. I don't think I need to attach Sparkling Crystal this turn. Because I won't be using Mirage Barrage this turn anyways. And then Professor Research. Just in case I want to use Evolution, I don't think I will. We're going to go ahead and attach a Boomerang Energy, I think. We want to save the Water Energy because we already have a Water Energy in our discard. We have Frogadier and Greninja for next turn. Let's go ahead and Shinobu Blade. I'm going to go ahead and search for a Rare Candy or an Ultra Ball. I think we're going to search for Rare Candy because the chances of me getting like... I only have one more Ultra Ball left. Yeah, the chance of me getting like an Ultra Ball or Night Stretcher is good. Plus, I can always Rare Candy the Froakie. Get another Greninja built. So we'll see here. I got an Ultra Ball here so I can search for a Pidgeot. I'm not sure if Pidgeot is... do we see a Pidgeot in our deck? I guess I can always search with Ultra Ball. But if they don't have another bench Pokemon, Mirage Barrage, so they better have another bench Pokemon. So one of those cards... Oh, wait, no. Okay, so they have a Night Stretcher, so they can build up another thing. What did they Night Stretcher? A Dino, okay. Carmine, that's like literally the best card they could have right now. Get a Fezandipiti, getting more cards, great. So they have 7 cards now. I think Mirage Barrage is still good. They're gonna Bedew me, so unfortunately I can't use Rare Candy or Ultra Ball. So that's a little bit rough, but I can evolve this Froakie into Frogadier. Pokegear. But yeah, I think if we use Mirage Barrage on this Dino, it's very strong. Simply because they've attached a lot of, they have put a lot of resources on this Dino. The Sparkling Crystals, 2 Dark Energies. So Mirage Barrage knocking out that Dino would hurt my opponent a lot. Professor Research, okay. Yeah, maybe I should run Pokegears in my deck, but I don't even run that many supporters, so... What would I even take out? Itchy Pollen for 10. If we get a Munkidori or something, it might not be bad, but we'll see. I can't use any items, so... I could Iono. Would Iono be good right now? I want to evolve this. I don't know if Iono is even good right now. Especially since I would only be drawing 4 cards. I think I ignore it. Should I use Sparkling Crystals or Energy? I am pretty low, so maybe we'll save the Sparkling Crystal for the next one. The next Greninja, I say. So we're going to attach a Water or a Dark Energy. I'm going to attach a Dark Energy here. Unfortunately, we don't have another Boomerang Energy, but that's okay. And then, should I play another Froakie? I don't think it's going to be too helpful. They could knock out this Greninja next turn, but I do have another Greninja kind of built up. Or they can't because I'm going to Mirage Barrage. Okay, let's Mirage Barrage them. I do want to get rid of the Bidoo, and I do want to get rid of that Dino for sure. And we're going to get rid of the Boomerang and the Dark, so only the Dark gets rid of. So yeah, next turn they're going to need like a Rare Candy. They're going to need like a Rare Candy into the Hydreigon, into a Crispin. But I've already knocked out so many of the resources. Like, look at how many energies I've knocked out. Look at, and they lost their Sparkling Crystal as well. So it's a lot of energies disappeared already. So they're going to need, yeah, it's going to be hard for them. Yeah, they're putting like a Steel Energy there. If they play another Pokemon that can get Mirage Barrage, I will be able to get the knockout for next turn. Also, this Fezandipiti is weak against fighting, and so I could just Shinobi Blade it next turn. So if they didn't notice that, then I could win next turn if they don't retreat it. They already played an energy on the Dino, so I could win if they don't have a switch of some sort. I think they already Professor Research, so Crispin doesn't do anything. Flip the script gets them more card, but again, they need a Rescue Board, they need a switch, or they lose. Essentially. Am I going to win this game without building a Pidgeot, guys? Am I going to win this game without building a Pidgeot? Hydreigon is fine. They might have Rare Candy. Hydreigon. Again, you need to get rid of this Fezandipiti or it's dead. Okay, I win. That's not the game I was thinking that I was going to win, but I'll take it. I'll take it. No, we don't need to search our deck. We won. So, again, that's... I don't even have another Pidgeot. I would need a Night Stretcher for that last Pidgeot in my discard. We actually got a win, alright, against Hydreigon deck that was putting way too much eggs in their baskets. But yeah, I'm going to probably end the video here. Again, it's just a little quick fun video about how kind of I would go about building a deck. I think this deck is interesting. I think I would need to kind of... Yeah, there needs to be more consistency in this deck. I think Pokegear... I was seeing a lot of my opponents playing Pokegear. I think Pokegear might be the play. Maybe I'll lower the energy count. Maybe, you know, like the 3 Boomerang energies. It wasn't bad, but I might... One of the games I did discard Iono, so that was just my mistake. But, you know, maybe there needs to be a little bit more consistency with this deck. You know, cutting out some Pokemon. But I don't know. I feel like I already... Like, maybe Crispin is too optimistic. Maybe only 1 Crispin. And then 2 for Professor Research. But yeah, I think there's a few things that can be changed, but I like the idea of the deck. But yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video about me making this deck, and maybe more of these in the future. Dude, I'm always cooking decks, guys. I'm always cooking. And you know, after playing this deck for a little bit, what would I give it? I'll probably give it 5 out of 10 stars. Like, it's okay. It's okay if you get started. But I feel like there might be a huge consistency issues. And Greninja itself isn't really that strong. You're probably always going to need 2 turns to knock something out. But Mirage Barrage is a very strong move. Thank you for watching. You're beautiful the way you are. And you know, I'll catch you in the next Pokemon TCG video. Alright, indeed.